We will start off with the most well-known Minecraft entity, known as Herobrine. Most Minecraft veterans will remember this character as the first ever haunted character to appear. It was first seen back in Alpha, and its skin is a normal Steve, but it's missing its pupils and has glowing white eyeballs. Very few people have ever encountered Herobrine, and those who have described seeing in their worlds forests without leaves, random sand pyramids, 2x2 tunnels, and of course, Herobrine in the distance himself. These few players who have encountered it also said that when they approached Herobrine, it would disappear, and when turning up their render distance, they could not find him anywhere. Null is another entity, but this time, Null was first seen with Herobrine, haunting the same world. This story starts off with a player. I cannot find the player's name, but this all took place sometime in August 2014. The player was on Java 1.3 and started a completely normal world. They had heard about Herobrine from one of their friends, but didn't really care, and thought that Herobrine wasn't real. A few days into the new survival world, this player went mining, and upon returning, they found a sign placed perfectly on their door, and the sign said, Null, and nothing else. The player had assumed it was a glitch of some form, and the definition of null means 0, and can be converted into code, so the player ignored it and went to bed. The next day, they started seeing an all-black skin in the distance watching over the player. This skin would stand still and teleport to various places all around the player. The player ignored it and left the game. They soon updated their version of Minecraft to 1.4 and went back to play on the same world. When they logged in, this time it was different. They spawned near bedrock in a 3x3 tunnel with redstone torches and a sign in Swedish writing. Upon translation, this sign was a distress message. Someone was begging for help, warning the player that someone was there with them. The player then logged out and logged back in, only to be outside their base this time, and when they turned around, they saw Herobrine, who appeared to be in distress and afraid, warning the player that Null was there and that they had to leave and delete the server. This entity even scared Herobrine. Null was a force that should not be disturbed. The players soon left the world, deleted the server, created a new world, which seemed perfectly fine. They have never seen Null or Herobrine since. Our next entity has been nicknamed Blue_Steve. It is a Steve skin, but the skin is all blue. This entity was first sighted by an unknown player back in late 2017. Ocean monuments were just added, and our player has done everything in the world but explore an ocean monument. So, our player travels many oceans and does not see a single one after many days of traveling. On their way home, they stumble upon an ocean monument, but the player was confused as this monument wasn't here before. It's like it just appeared there. The player treated it like it was nothing and figured they must have passed it somehow. As they are getting ready to enter it, they noticed there's no guardians and there's no entrance. They were starting to get really confused as they didn't even get mining fatigue. So the player digs into the ocean monument from the top and only finds one room with signs in it. The signs read stuff like, "You shouldn't be here," "I shouldn't be here," "Are we strong enough?" The player quickly started to swim out there and head back home, but when they got home, they only saw a hole, and that their whole base had been blown up. There were mountains of water everywhere, and when they took a closer look, they saw Blue Steve. The entity then wrote in the chat, "I shouldn't be here, but it's too late to go back. This world shall be forgotten." Then the game crashed. As the player loaded up the game, the world had completely disappeared from their game. Other information about Blue_Steve is that he is seen mostly near ocean monuments and unknown lapis structures. This entity also has similar entities. There were a few named Red_Steve, Green_Steve, Purple_Steve, White_Steve, and I've even heard of a Rainbow_Steve. Next up, we will talk about Entity 303. I remember watching a lot of videos about him when I was younger, but now that I do more research on him, his story is a lot deeper than what I thought. There were 4 friends named Brady, John, Frank, and Vincent. They were playing Minecraft on one of their old friends' servers, which was always active, but if you were to join, you would have to be whitelisted. 3 of them were building a hotel, when Frank and Brady went to the nearby forest to get more logs while Vincent kept building and John soon logged off. Soon after leaving the main town, and upon entering a desert, a ghostly figure was seen standing upon a hill. and as Frank ran up to see the hill, it was already gone. Then the game started glitching. Vincent mysteriously got kicked out, and Brady wept out of fear. Frank was soon given a blindness effect and was unable to move. Entity 303 walked out of the darkness and up to Frank, spammed lines of unknown code in the chat, and then Frank's computer crashed. A few other people have reported similar hauntings, but none as bad as this one. Next, this one has been so long forgotten I cannot find a proper source on it, so I will go based on what I remember from all those years ago when I first heard of it. This one is named Giant Steve. This entity is a giant version of Steve with no eyes and blood all over it. This one is seen standing still and staring at the player. It does not move, it does not attack, it just stares at the player. When a player tries to approach it, it will teleport. Eventually, the game will crash and the world will be lost. There are similar entities to this one. I don't know if any of you have heard, but there is another entity called Giant Alex. This is all the information that we have on these characters. If you've ever had an experience with any of these entities or other entities, let everyone know in the comments section below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye, guys!